and welcome to Build Professional Lab at DP Summit 2024. It's our second day. We're right after the keynote, and my guest is the keynote speaker, Abi Noda. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we know Abi from last year, and if you didn't watch the Build Professional Lab with Abi from last year, you really should. We'll put the link in the description right here, so you can watch like the prequel, and now we are in the sequel. And the sequel is very interesting because this year you didn't come alone to a keynote at DP Summit. You actually had a guest that we're going to talk about in a second. But first, tell us a little bit about what you are doing about DX, the platform, the product, the company, and GetDX, the website, getdx.com.
Yep.
Go there. But yeah.
So DX is a developer intelligence platform. So we help companies get data on developer productivity. You guys, of course, deal with this problem a lot with the customers you work with. If you're a developer productivity leader or a platform leader, you need data to justify your existence, your funding, the investments you want to make, and then be able to validate whether those investments are actually moving the needle on productivity. So was really excited this year to be able to be joined here by Dr. Margaret Ann Story, who goes by Peggy for short. She's one of the co-authors of Space. She won't let me say this on stage, but I think she's the most cited and most published researcher in the world.
Wow.
In regards to developer productivity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So someone I've looked up to as a mentor and as a collaborator for a long time. So it was great to be able to bring her here and tell some of her story with.
Yeah, and it was a great interview. It was, by the way, broadcasted live and recorded. So again, check the notes for this episode to get a link for the keynote and hear everything about it. So we can hear a lot about her research in the keynote. Let's talk about DX. What the platform does, how does it help people? What's up with that?
Yeah. So again, DX helps you measure and get data on developer productivity. There's a lot of different use cases for that. So you might be a C-level leader, a CTO or a CEO who's just trying to understand, hey, we put X millions of dollars into R&D and software engineering. How effective are we? How does our return on that investment compare to other organizations? Or as I mentioned earlier, you might be a developer productivity or platform leader who's in charge of improving productivity. And without a way to measure how well you're doing at that, you're a little bit adrift. So those are some use cases.
But the measurement is so diverse and non-trivial,
yes.
Right? And there are tons of different approaches, and as we know and as we learn from, for example, DP Summit and the speakers here, the measurement is really a multifaceted approach.
Yep.
From everything from like gathering numbers,
yes.
of how many builds are running and how many pull requests you do,
yep.
and something like the velocity, but also surveys, talking to people,
yep.
hearing their pains, and being able to extract and kind of nullify the bias in those interviews as
yes.
well. So how it is automatable, how it can be a product when
yeah.
it's like so much is going on.
So at DX, we definitely focus on that quantitative side of gathering all the data about your builds and pull requests and developer activity, but our primary focus has always been on the qualitative side of understanding developer productivity. So being able to have well-designed surveys and interviews and different ways of gathering qualitative feedback from developers and turning that into measurements and trends and benchmarks and comparisons over time. That's so important, as we've heard here at the conference, such an important aspect of understanding and measuring productivity. And it's also something, as you hear in the hallways, that's really hard to do. Getting participation on these surveys is really hard. Designing good surveys is really hard. And the work that goes into analysis and comparison and interpreting and generating the insights and reporting those up to executives and presentations is a lot of work that goes into that, and that's where we come in and try to help.
I think this is just the know-how of, hey, how do we approach the developers that they won't hate us for wasting their time in more meetings?
Yeah.
Only that is something that you either try to reinvent the wheel or ask something, and if it's organized as a platform, it should be really, really useful.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and obviously I think you do great work, and you are on fire. Get the access everywhere. So I think you're getting there, which is very, very exciting. Yeah. So. Abi, thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure. I hope to see you next year, keynoting at DP Summit, and just see you around. I wish you best of luck with your platform, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Grateful to be here.
And your folks, stay tuned for more episodes of the Build Proposal Lab from DP Summit 2024. We're coming right back.